but this weather.
We're live? Okay, just let everyone know we're live right now on video, just to let you know, and if you could put your cell phones on vibrate, that'd be good. We still have a couple of seconds here, so. All right, so it being 7 o'clock, Vice Chairman will go over, we have old and new business.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First thing I actually have in front of me is approval of the December 14th minutes.
December 14th.
Yeah. The other one's in front of me right now.
That's all we have, right?
Yeah. Okay, dokie. Would anyone like to make a motion regarding the minutes on December 14th?
Sure, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the December 14, 2017 meeting.
I'll be happy to second those.
All in favor?
Aye.
And continue hearing.
First thing on the docket. Make sure I get the right agenda here. Abington Zoning Board of Appeals will hold a petition for Mr. Matt Laughlin, 251 Park Avenue, Abington, for a front and rear yard setback finding, special permit to exceed maximum lot coverage and variance for lot area to construct an addition at 251 Park Ave under 175-29 and Mass General Law, Chapter 40A, Section 6. Property located on Assessors Map 32, Lot 38 in the R30 zone.
Come right up. I'm sorry, we didn't set up any chairs, did we? You wanna just grab a chair? Sure.
Excuse me.
So I have a revised plot plan, minus driveways, trimmed crushed stone.
So what'd that drop your coverage down to, sir?
We can calculate to 24 feet.
All right.
Perfecto.
And 4, so you guys can share.
That one.
Yeah, I can show you.
Marshall,
Because he's the official figure.
Share.
all right.
Okay, so it looks a little bit better. Questions?
So the issue you had the last time was that it was correct, there was 2 special permits that you were looking for, but then there was a variance for the lot area, because it was, at that point, 31% coverage. Correct. You brought it back down to 24.8% coverage, which require only a special permit, correct?
Correct. So now we're looking
Through special permits?
for, actually, he's looking for front and rear, excuse me, front and
rear
rear
yard
yard setback
setback.
findings.
Okay.
Findings, yeah.
No quote.
Doesn't need any relief.
Okay,
He doesn't need any relief.
That's
Does
what I
not
wanna
need any
make sure.
relief on that now?
because we can just say it, but then be wrong.
Okay.
Okay.
Right, 'cause he
Question
knows-
I have here too, I see no plan as far as what the building is gonna be. Is that 2
I have it
floors?
right here, I was just gonna, I have one copy, you guys want
Is
to
it
take a
1
look?
floor, 2 floors?
It's 2,
Oh,
There's a house now, too?
yes.
Okay, all right.
Gotta go.
Okay.
Thank you.
If you ever come again in the future, it's nice to have these plans beforehand so we can,
Yeah, I had them last time.
oh. Okay, my concern was the roof. Is that,
Yeah, it looks pretty much conforming with the neighborhood, if you will.
There's no turrets or moat.
No. He does have that wall, though.
I knew that it was, the roof line was gonna be tough, it'd be a little higher, but he's actually.
The train?
okay.
You don't notice it anymore?
I don't think it looks bad.
The concern I had, so you'll know, on the roof line, it can't be higher than the other one. And you
Well, it
did,
is a little, it is a little higher, but,
and
I
that's
was
an issue.
concerned it was gonna look overwhelming, to be honest with you, but,
Yeah.
because it's kind of a bungalow style.
And the reason for that is because it's not up to code as far as ceiling height
Ceiling
by
height
existing,
and
so we had
whatnot,
to,
And you had to do that with this one, and I was concerned at how it was gonna look between the two, you know. But it's one, nice job done.
And that's just sort of what it is.
That's a cover page, so we can use that. Is this for our record, sir?
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta have one set. Thank you. Good luck with that.
You pass it back down, I'll give it to Nancy when you're done.
And I'd like to have one of them, if you don't mind, so I can verify that.
Does it go over the wall, the height? No, good.
So I'm looking at this, and just looking at the wording of the request, and so I see
Correct.
for front and rear yard setback finding. Okay, and that is pretty straightforward, that's just the size of the lot, in my opinion. The variance, so what I see here, special permit to exceed max lot coverage and variance to lot area. He doesn't need a variance anymore, and that's what I'm trying to understand that sentence, Marshall. Does he need, I mean.
Is this in
What
the
does he need?
advertisement or in the application
in the-
we're talking about?
I'm looking at the advertisement. Should I be looking at the actual application for the wording on this?
That's what I was looking at. Variance lot area, 116.
And that doesn't matter anymore. That's,
It's already
It's been eliminated.
pre-existing,
Go-
non-conforming.
right.
And we already have a structure on it. I don't understand why we would be looking for that unless I'm missing something.
Right.
We have,
More non-conforming.
it's, yeah, it is, it's more no, it's not more non-conforming, it's still the same lot. And it's,
No, that was-
where we have additional coverage, but we're not exceeding the coverage.
It's not
Am I
closer to
missing
the,
something here?
it's not closer to the line.
Previously, when I've been in front of the board with a lot that was, the same thing was pre-existing non-conforming, because it lacked the amount of area, I was asked to request a variance for the lot area because it was non-conforming. Matter of fact, you sent me back.
Even
and I
though
had
it was
to re-adver-
previously
and I had to
non-conforming.
Yeah, even though it was the same lot, in this other instance, it was the same lot, so that's, I mean, I don't know if it would have been a little bit different, because in that instance, what they were doing is they were going to raise the existing house and replace it with a new house.
Yeah, because you have the house here, and where the house is right now, it's off to the side, and now you have room for the addition. Isn't like you're tearing down the whole house
The
and
addition,
centering it.
Well, that shouldn't be of any, that isn't the reason for it. I did that because last year or something, we had a lot that did not meet the zone, meet the area requirements.
It was too small.
It was too small, and I was asked to redo the application for a variance for lot area.
I remember that.
So that's.
But in this case, he's got pavement that we're removing so that it.
Right.
No, we're not talking lot area.
Yeah.
No, we're not talking about percentage of
We're not talking
coverage,
coverage, he's talking lot area.
lot area.
Yeah,
Well, we've got a pre-existing non-conforming lot
Yeah.
that's in terms of its area, and we've got a structure on it.
Right, he's 8,400 square feet in an R30.
In an R30, I think it is.
Yeah, so it's a
And,
30,000 square foot lot
Right.
Yeah.
by law.
And,
So he's not even a third of that.
no, it's a way smaller lot, they changed the zoning.
That was
at
an
some point
R20.
in time.
Okay,
But,
And that's why you can make this
right.
exemption.
So,
I struggle with this, I don't understand, I don't remember why you would have to.
so we're granting a variance for, if this is to go through, we're granting a variance for lot area, which is basically allowing him to
Further build on what he's
Further
already
build.
done.
Right.
We don't need a variance.
I don't
Well,
think
under
we need it, but,
175.29, is it that?
That was
or
his
is it
question.
special?
How do we remove this out of, and recondition it, or?
Yeah, we can grant less than what's required,
Right.
but not more than
More.
what's asked for.
Right.
I don't see the harm in granting it in the event that I am not remembering that we should be doing this, and I can't think of why we should, but well, you table it, because it's not gonna build right now anyway, and I'll have to check.
You've already tabled
I'll check
it
with
once.
council. I know.
Yeah, we don't want the time.
I
Yeah,
don't
we don't
wanna
want the
do
time to
that.
run out on. You've already tabled it once.
So 175.29 max lot coverage is no longer applicable, correct?
He's within the requirements.
within his
24.8.
Percentage of
Percent.
existing.
The front and
lot.
rear setback?
Front and rear setbacks are finding,
That's a
because
finding.
they're already
Yep.
pre-existing non-conforming.
Okay.
And you find, the finding's
Okay.
supposed to state that it's not more detrimental to the neighborhood, blah, blah.
And the character of the neighborhood and all that. And it meets all of
We're doing
the,
a variance.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you don't have to meet the variance requirements.
so we should just do it.
And it's not a safety and traffic.
The finding for the front yard setback.
Are we all set talking about this right now, guys? Open up the floor? Okay. Open up the floor. Any questions on 251 Park Ave? Nothing? Okay, closing it to the floor, bring it back to the board.
All right. So, again, the hardship is obviously the shape and area of the lot, in my opinion, regarding this.
There's no hardship needed.
Well, are
Well,
we
yeah.
talking about a variance? Sorry, do you have to decide on a variance here?
No, we don't have to decide on the variance.
Is that
So
right?
there isn't a need for hardship on improving here.
Well, he's requesting permission under 175.29 lot area variance.
But it was previously non-conforming, correct?
Right. Well, that's it, we can
So we
find,
just-
the findings are,
Okay, I'll go with you.
Yeah,
Okay.
we have to,
the findings are, one, the existing structure is non-conforming, the lot's non-conforming.
Mm-hmm.
So granting the front yard setback, he's not coming any closer to the street. And a rear yard setback, again,
nothing you can do
you
about
can't
that.
go any further back.
Right.
You got,
The wall.
you get the commuter rail right there.
Right.
He doesn't have an option. So personally, I find in favor of those two requests for 175.29 front yard and rear yard setbacks.
The only thing that I'd like to make a comment on this is, again, it's an R20 originally, it is now R30. So that future cases, that people can come back and haunt us with this. This is not what we're trying to do here. We're making an exception because this was an exception from day one.
Right, yeah.
And so that someone doesn't come forward and try to come and ask us for the same relief that you're getting. Just so
Because most of those houses on that on that street have the same exact
And they
situation.
have come in front of the board and have gotten,
We hear a lot from Park Ave.
Right, because it is a very unique
That's it.
area.
And so then, given that, then the other question is the request for the lot area variance, which is basically, he's continuing to build on the lot.
Yeah, 1 and 2 family, no, intensifying existing nonconformity, which is the setback of the front, the setback of the rear, and that the lot is too small. I don't know that, the lot area variance, I don't see a variance there, but John, you said we had a situation where council must have advised that that was required.
It could have been council, but
I don't-
we did go through, it was up on Nile Street, and we did go through it, and you requested that we come back and add that, and add the, because the lot was, it had sufficient frontage, didn't have sufficient area. So we requested a variance for lot area.
And that wasn't just lot coverage, it wasn't...
No, it wasn't anything to do with lot coverage. It was simply lot area.
Okay, so where do we stand on this now?
I'm pretty sure that town council will tell you that, and I think there was a similar case, that what you have to do here now is to table it for one more meeting and come back without this in here.
Without the
Well,
Resubmit this.
I don't think we
without the
can do
variance in there.
that, because we've already tabled this once.
I know, but
So,
from a legal standpoint,
Well, if I may, I mean, it was always my understanding when you have a lot like that, it's pre-existing, non-conforming. I mean, we went through this and I just did it, but I was of the opinion that when you have something like that, the lot exists, the lot pre-existed the current zoning, so that you didn't need anything for that, unless you were removing, making it an empty lot and starting all over again. Then, once you lose the house, it loses its grandfather status, and you would have to go back. Maybe that was the case with,
Abandoned rights.
we abandoned our rights. I mean, I'm not a lawyer or anything, but in this case, if that's how you feel about it, I mean, you can simply, I would think you could simply just not vote on it, and just vote on the specifics of what he's asking for.
and that's, I'm wondering on that line as well. Now, Marshall, basically, Mr. Laughlin's here because, he was under the understanding he needed those 3 things before he could break ground, correct? We've
Before you get a
corrected,
permit, yeah.
Corrected
he self-corrected one, which was the coverage by basically changing out the driveways or eliminating one of the driveways.
Reducing some of the coverage.
Yes, sir.
And so he's under the threshold.
So that's,
That takes care of that. You've got
Right.
the front and the rear setbacks, which are
and that's a finding.
Non-conforming.
he's
It's
increasing
finding.
existing, which
Right.
requires a finding.
So that's a finding. So, in your opinion, does the granting and/or denying of the variance prevent him from building at this point? It sounds to me like you think he doesn't need the
Right
variance.
now, I can't think of why he does need that, and I feel sorry that I haven't addressed this, and I just didn't look at that.
So if we were to grant, for instance, the findings,
You grant the findings.
But
I would
deny the
pro- I would-
variance.
I would be horrified if I suggested to you that he doesn't need that variance, and then come to find out from council
That he does.
that he does.
Right, so I
Then
think the
have
variance
shot
is,
him
so
in the
then
foot,
what is the
myself in foot.
downside to the board
What's the downside if you granted
of granting the
that
variance?
request?
What
It's something he didn't need anyway.
What are we
Yeah, I mean-
exposing the town to with that lot? Because then that variance goes with the lot forever. correct?
which he didn't need anyway.
Right,
I don't think
right.
it gives you anything.
So I
But I
don't think
don't-
it
I
takes
don't-
away or gives anything, it just
Right.
gives them the right to build.
Okay.
I would make a notation with that variance that the board found that, in their opinion, that they did not need it, so therefore they were overlooking it, but I still am concerned that town council would suggest that we take rid of this. I mean, do it the proper way and go through the system, which would be one more meeting. Because there wasn't a case that did happen. I'm just throwing that out there.
Well, I know, there was one that didn't need it, she was here for that one, and she said that we didn't need the variance.
So can I ask, what is the issue? So he's in R30. He has to have a lot, what, minimum area, what the lot is?
Minimum area is 30,000 in his district,
And
and he
he's
has 8,400 square feet. So he's way under.
way under that.
And then, he has, it's pre-existing non-conforming. The lot's too small for that zoning district. And he wants to,
What's the 21,600 square feet?
that's the variance he would ask, that's how much he's short to meet the 30,000 feet.
And he wants to,
And they're asking for that relief. Now, if he didn't need front yard finding, backyard finding, and he just came to me and he didn't exceed the coverage, I believe I'd be issuing a building permit for him.
Right.
we think that the lot is originally small because it was a different
It was in a
zone.
different district, or there
Oh,
was
it's
no
an R20.
zoning at
It was
that.
no
Feet of
20.
frontage, says here.
So
And that was.
It's
That was,
120.
it's a long time ago.
Teeny
He has,
lots,
a-
right
yeah,
by
if he has a
railroad
frontage.
tracks.
If he had this lot and he didn't need.
And what's the,
front yard finding,
Area we said was 8,400?
and he wasn't
8,400
exceeding
right here,
the
yeah.
coverage, which he isn't now, I would be issuing a building permit without coming in front of the board.
Would he have needed a variance for the R20?
Yeah, he's 20,000 feet then, he's under that. He's under. It's just pre-existing non-conforming.
Marshall, do you have section 6 in front of you? 40A, section 6?
Oh, that's a big section.
No.
He's got a-
Here.
You might have in the back of your
Third
head.
paragraph be applicable if he is at least 5,000 square feet of area and 50 feet of frontage?
That's another one.
Right,
Yeah, that is the minimum standards for a buildable lot that could be grandfathered. And if, that's a perfect example, but,
Yeah.
and if he met the, and didn't exceed the coverage, he's entitled to a building permit.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why I am not, that's true, and I don't understand why what John's bringing up, where there was another situation where they needed a variance for coverage, a square footage.
Is there any provision where if we granted the finding for the front and rear setback, and for some reason it turned out that he needed the variance, we could waive an additional filing fee or anything like that, or is that not
That
applicable?
would stop his construction.
right.
That's true.
Yeah, we
that's true,
can't do
yeah.
that, no.
Well, he's not gonna be doing anything for the next couple of months anyway. There's 3.5 feet of frost.
End of March anyway, so.
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, you're not hurting him by
Frost.
agreeing
What's the
agreeing
downside?
to have a mutual
The
agreement
only, I
on an
think the only
extension to
downside
clear
would
this
be,
up.
almost be just creating these sort of paper variances when we don't know whether or not they need to exist without determining whether or not
Could
the
I ask a
requirements are met.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, just the date of this application of loan, doesn't it, the variance, isn't that kind of show the process that I had to go through with my original plot plan of being over on coverage, and now in this meeting, I just submitted another one that shows that I'm under?
Right, yeah.
You know, as far as to your point of redoing the paperwork, it kind of already shows the process I had to go through, correct?
Yeah, my idea of paperwork is just eliminate that third,
Oh, I understand,
That's it.
but originally I did need it because I was over on.
because, yeah, and you got rid of the drive, you're gonna
Right,
get rid
so
of the
it kind of
driveway.
shows
and
that, my original submittal.
Which was a concern of the water runoff, number one.
Right,
and, because you want it to go in the ground as much as you can.
right.
And the fact
And
that.
coverage.
Yes.
Okay.
So you did do that in your plan, so
Right.
that's positive.
And I think I have the timeline
What-
here with
I
regards to.
think that we do have to, Mr. Chairman, we do have to address the variance. I think John is right, because it has been asked, and the board does have to go up or down on the variance. But if he's got 8,400 feet, right, and it's supposed to be 30,000,
Mhm,
so does he have to have a minimum 30,000 feet?
mhm.
So he does need a variance, right?
He's already got a house there, it's pre-existing.
Right, it's pre-existing.
If it was new, yes, and
If he demolished it and put a new house up,
if he abandoned his rights, tore the house down, he would need a variance to build. But where it's pre-existing non-conforming, he does not. It's already there, it's
And
existing.
you're saying it's like a Gale v. Gloucester, that because he's increasing the,
He's
No,
not,
you're-
no, there's.
Chatham,
I mean, he's got, whatever, he's got 1,000 square feet of building on the lot
He's got
right
Lady
now,
Chatham.
as in terms of a footprint, and now it's going to go to,
Pre-existing non-conforming, Dedrick Chatham, Gale
Dedrick,
Gloucester.
yes.
And states that in the 1 and 2 family, if there's no new non-conformity and it doesn't increase any existing, he's entitled to a permit. If there is intensifying existing nonconformity, he requires a finding. That speaks to you.
that's the front yard.
The front.
Front and the rear.
Mm-hmm.
If he creates a new nonconformity, that requires a
that's the
variance.
Deidre case.
Well, the old house has the same 14 feet from the
But he
frontage.
isn't he isn't creating a new nonconformity. The lot was already too small.
No, right, exactly,
And he isn't getting any closer to the front, and he isn't
Exactly.
getting any closer to the rear,
right,
and he still does not have any side yard issues.
nope.
So, it's clear as I can see with regards to this, it's not required. And-
Variance,
you would say,
And the only other thing is, you have to vote up or down on
On the
it,
finding.
yea or
Yes.
nay on the variance for, which I don't believe he needs. It's not creating a timeline
This is
issue
kinda like
for
the one
the
we had.
applicant with regards to an extension, and then I'd have to look into,
The
there
one
is a
with the road that was
timeline that
next to
has
it.
to be abided by with regards to the permit and the decision that has to be made with you guys, and I don't know that here, but and
it sounds
rights
like,
granted by the variance.
it sounds like
Most of the
what you're
release.
talking about with the lot, though, is that I understand it's previous and non-conforming, so it seems to be an issue with the shape or topography of such land, which is the wording for a variance, right? If there's a problem with the land, the lot, the shape or topography of such land, and there's a hardship that goes with it, the petitioner should get a variance. So I don't have a vote, but I would think that we do have to vote up and down whether there should be a variance. And here, from what the building inspector says, there's an issue about the shape of the land and that it is a hardship. You already have this land. It is smaller than the area you're supposed to have. And so you do need a variance for it. But he's saying that in practical terms, it doesn't change anything. And the hardship would be financial hardship. You want to build on the house.
Well, it says also you
Do
make
it.
a decision with
Alright,
the unless extended,
Yeah.
agreed upon
Not
by
just
both
one.
parties.
Well,
right, so, we're gonna figure this out right now, huh? You wanna say something?
So I think what I want to do is make a motion first that in, kind of a three-part motion, I believe, is in the, first in the case of the front and rear yard setback findings, I make a motion that the board finds that we're not increasing the nonconformity and we allow those.
Grant the finding.
Grant the finding,
Yeah,
correct.
fine.
In the case of the, what's it, the lot coverage, that's no longer relevant. So that's we'll put that aside, but we're reading this into the record. And then in the case of 175-29 lot area variance, under the rules of whether it's Gale v. Gloucester, or what was the other one?
Diedrich, out of Chatham.
Chatham, that the board believes that it is not necessary to go proceed with your construction with that variance. So I make a motion that that be denied,
I think the,
keeping in mind that it is our belief that you will be able to break ground when the weather is permitted. But you just don't need a variance, in our opinion, and there's no sense just doing paper variances.
can we just have him withdraw his application though? Because he only.
No, because you start all over again.
Extension.
Well, if we deny the variance, then he can't come back here and resubmit the new plans for 2 years, though.
A year.
If for some reason he needs
Not
it in a
variance.
year. So
The
that would
other
be the
thing
only
is to
issue.
get clarification from town council on that one issue.
But where is their paper variance though? I mean, he's got a lot that's 8,400 square feet, right? And
Correct.
he's in a place that he's supposed to have 30,000 square feet, is that right?
That's correct.
So obviously it's a
So
small.
you're saying just the fact that he needs to stick a shovel in the ground, he needs a variance for that?
Well, he hasn't demolished the house, so we understand that he hasn't lost his whatever it is, the
Grandfather
grandfather
status.
status. So we understand that. But he's come to you today saying that, look, my land is really too short for what I'm doing.
Right.
My land is too small in the area. And so it seems to me that he has a hardship because he bought the house at that smaller land. In fact, the zone was a smaller zone anyway, and he would have got a variance for that. So his hardship is to the shape and topography of the land.
But he's gonna prove
He's
all
always-
four prongs though. Financially, he's gonna prove that.
Well, he
That's
hasn't
one
got to that yet, but whether he needs, I mean, the question is whether he needs a variance or not whether he's
That's-
due
That's
it.
correct.
All right, so the first question is, does he need a variance in this? And that's why I don't understand the word paper variance, because obviously he's in a lot where he's not, his house is too small for the lot.
But it's always been, the lot's the lot.
Right,
So-
it's grandfathered in,
Yeah.
yeah,
It
so,
says here that you guys
No,
make a
actually, it isn't,
decision
'cause
within
it's an
100
R30.
days, or you can agree, if it's mutually agreeable, to extend. It's not gonna hurt him to extend to the next
And get
meeting,
town
and I
council.
can get an answer from council.
We just
whether
made
he needs it or he doesn't.
We
I'm
just made
sorry
a-
that I've made the mistake of not addressing this, it's my fault.
So we're just stuck on the variance for lot
Whether or
area.
not you need it and they don't want. to
Right,
deny
'cause
it, in
we've-
the event that there's something unforeseen and you do need it.
Well, you just made a
It
motion.
could be a legal thing down the road for you.
We just made a motion here, so.
Could we
Can I withdraw the motion?
make a motion on the findings at this point? If he doesn't need the variance, town council doesn't need,
What's that?
say he needs a
No, it
variance, we
wasn't
continue
second.
that aspect and he can just withdraw it and not have to even
We
come
don't
to the
have
next
second my
meeting.
motion.
Withdraw his application.
You could do that.
That be the easiest thing to do?
I'm sorry.
Make
We
a,
were chatting.
We're just trying to figure out how to get rid of the motion that we just made.
well, withdraw the motion.
you could just.
Withdraw.
I withdraw.
Okay.
Okay,
Where
you
where
get
are we
that?
on time? Does he have another meeting?
We're just trying to do this right, so you don't have to come
This is
back
my
again,
second
sir.
Your second one, so
So we have to
100
agree to a
days.
continuance, the both of us.
Yeah, but it's be a mutual thing, because
Because
To be fair,
basically,
this is my continuance here, and I was told
I know,
if I came with this plan,
I
it
know.
would be under one area, and and I was told I wouldn't need a variance.
that's what we're talking about.
I understand.
That's why we
but-
need the.
And we talked about it last meeting, and
Yeah, I get
here
what
we are
you're saying.
again, kind
That
of the
was,
same.
Different, you were talking about coverage, this is talking about the area.
Well, yeah, the area hasn't changed though, right? I mean,
No.
it's-
I agree with you.
The question is what we feel comfortable with here. Do we feel comfortable giving him or not giving him the variance? If we do not give him the variance, that means
And he
he
needs
can't
it,
build.
then he's stuck.
Right,
then he can't do anything.
exactly.
If he needs it.
Well, that's not the issue. The issue is first, does he need a variance or not? It's up to you. I think, but it's probably my little knowledge that he does need a variance insofar as it's an R30 and his place is 8,000 feet,
Yeah, we-
right?
In the
And then
question,
the second thing is, if, does he met that it's, because of the topography and shape? And I think he has met that. Does he have a hardship? Yeah, I think he has. This is his home and he wants to build on it. He's not making it any bigger.
Maybe it's
So-
right here, and we've already done this. That's a hardship as well. If you grant it,
Okay,
don't
all right.
believe it's not necessary.
All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna make a decision right now on this. We've kicked it around enough, and we're gonna make a motion and carry on here. Go ahead, Bill.
You gotta rescind the other one you made.
We did.
I
We
did.
rescinded,
Okay.
withdrew the last motion.
Grant it.
So on the petition of Matt Laughlin, 251 Park Ave, Abington, first, make a motion that the board grant the finding for the front and rear yard setbacks. And given the size of this particular lot and the fact that the zoning has changed on him, I make a motion to grant the variance for a lot area construction for the lot area to construct an addition at 251 Park Ave under 175-29, Mass General Law, Chapter 40A, Section 6. Be approved.
I second. Marshall, do you want us to add per the plan submitted January, the revised plan submitted January 9, 2018?
Per the plan submitted
Those, yeah,
January 11, 2018.
those have to be anyway.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Sorry about the confusion, sir.
You're welcome. It being after 7:10 PM, Abington Zoning Board of Appeals hold a hearing on the petition of EMK Trust, 355 Providence Highway, Westwood, for a special permit under 175-35 to construct in the floodplain wetland protection overlay district, and variances under 175-29 for front yard setback and lot frontage to construct a single-family house with attached garage at 0 Murphy Street, property located on Assessors Map 51, lots 17, 18, 19, and 20 in the R30 zone.
It hasn't changed.
All righty.
John, do you have paperwork that you use for the house? Are you gonna keep it?
We wanted a copy.
Nancy would like a
Is
copy.
it one copy or?
There was only one copy, so Nancy would like a copy of it.
We'll make another copy.
Yeah, I need the plan too.
I have a copy here.
Put it on the floor.
I didn't look at all. You want mine?
No, I only have one.
It's all white on that
That one, the one,
in the middle.
I just
Oh,
wrote
you
that
want
one. That's the new one.
Wait, most of them actually.
Oh, yeah. I gave some.
Leaving so well.
Took that one with him.
You won't fall for it. No, it was the one that I, no, it was the one that John and I had. But why did you take that?
Okay.
I have the plan, I don't have the,
Skinny.
right, so
This one. Yeah, this one. Well, I didn't give you that. Why did you
This
take
all
mine?
wetlands?
Yeah.
That's a, life is tough.
It's in the overlay district. The rest of the
If you need one, I can always supply
Okay,
Okay, good evening. My name is John Cotter. I'm with Russell Wheatley Company. I'm here with Mr. and Mrs. Matthews. They are the applicants, if you will, of this project that they are, they want to construct a house on Murphy Street. It being a road that's currently under construction. It's the road that attaches to the subdivision that's out in back of the Dorsey Street lots. Currently, it hasn't been accepted by the town, but it is under construction. Our lot was an existing lot that was owned by Mr. Eugene Kelly and his wife. Mr. and Mrs. Matthews are family members of the Kelly family, and the reason for this is they're trying to assist Mr. Kelly with some medical expenses that they've incurred. And Mr. Matthews is going to try and develop this particular lot to help out with the family. It's located on the south side of Murphy Street and on the west side of Chamberlain. Chamberlain Street is a paper street, not constructed, and probably is a road that would not be constructed. I have a copy of the subdivision when these lots were developed back in 1951. It shows the lots there, that are, all of those lots right now are owned by Mr. Kelly. The ones that we are working on are shown on the plan as lots 73 through 76. What we're requesting is a special permit at this time because it does lie within the floodplain and wetlands protection overlay district. They are also requesting a variance for frontage and also a variance for the building setback. The special permit for the overlay district, we are currently working on the property. It has topography and the proposed topography so that the runoff, some of the runoff will be running towards the new street. Some of the runoff will be running towards the back end side of the property, which, in my estimation, is going to reduce the amount of runoff that is currently heading in a easterly direction towards the houses on Crosley Street. The frontage, if you will, the frontage that is currently right now, the existing lot would technically be considered a corner lot, and it would have approximately 454 feet of street frontage. However, the majority of that frontage is on a paper street, and legally, the legal frontage is shown on the plan as about 105 feet, which is why we are here for the front setback variant, the frontage variance, I'm sorry. And the building setback variance we are here for is mainly because it is, he's not able to utilize the property because of the paper street. Setbacks greatly reduce the amount of buildable area that he can utilize on the property. all the lots, as I had said before, all the lots in the subdivision were, that are under consideration here were recorded and approved back in 1951 from the plan that I showed you. The width of the lot along with the corner lot setback requirements, they do reduce the amount of buildable area. On a standard lot, you would have about 70 feet of buildable area side to side. Because of the setback requirements, it reduces it down to about 45 feet. 45 feet really doesn't give you enough to create a house and garage that would front on the developed road. You would more have to turn the house to the side, which is aesthetically not very pleasing. It also would devalue the lot and the house that would be constructed, my opinion. The frontage variance hardship is that the undeveloped street, as I had said, Chamberlain Street, in looking at it and historically working up there, it's an area that is, it's wet and in a lot of the area, and the need for the road is really not there anymore.
But it's here to here is the,
This is one.
All of these would be,
and this is the front, because it's a corner.
detrimental to the development of this property, and would definitely create a financial hardship for the family. Other than that, I guess what I would like to do is leave it to you. If you have any questions.
Well, what is the house gonna look like? Built.
Two-story, like farmer's colonial kind of thing, with a front porch, built-in garage.
Is this one it?
No, we don't have a
I don't
copy of
have
it
it,
here, we
okay.
don't have it here, but two-story, 2,000 square foot, home with a built-in garage in the front, and a farmer's porch on the side.
Is there, I didn't get a chance to drive by this. Are there any other houses built on this side?
The buddy house is going up.
Nothing at all?
Not on Chamberlain.
No.
Well, Chamberlain
I think there's
doesn't
one. I
exist.
think-
Right.
No, I mean, I'm talking about Murph.
But they got it built, the road is built.
Yep.
Yeah, nothing on
Correct.
Chamberlain, yeah.
Murphy's built, Chamberlain
Chamberlain's kind of
isn't.
the problem.
Yeah, but I drove on Chamberlain today, so it's there.
I'm
Drove
not
on
sure that
Murphy
is
Street.
Chamberlain,
Yeah.
yeah. That dirt road, I don't think is Chamberlain. I think
Yeah.
that's just.
Oh,
a
right,
country road.
right, okay.
Yeah.
So this is 4 lots that you're combining into one lot?
Combining into one lot, it's all under the same
The
ownership.
problem
So-
is that Chamberlain,
All 17, 18, 19, 20 will be one.
That's correct.
And then the same owner currently owns 21, 22, and 23?
that's, yes.
Yeah.
And some on the other side too.
Yes.
This right
The
here.
other side of
This
Chamberlain.
is, you're asking for 4 lots to one, make it into one.
That's,
So it will be on record as 4 lots into one, it won't be down the road.
No.
You
I
plan
don't
on
think- I
living
don't think
there?
it would be possible. We haven't, to be honest with you, we haven't decided yet. We haven't decided if we're gonna live there or not, because we have a house we'd have to sell
This
to
is,
live there,
looks
so.
like
See,
this is the
that
original.
changes
Is
a
this the
lot,
locus
if
right
that's
here?
the case.
These are the same things.
So where's the one that
Because if
So
you
he's
look
up
at
in
them,
17,
right,
he's
Marshall,
up in the corner.
here?
if it's
Yeah.
all gonna be combined into one,
is that one?
Yep.
Yeah, well, they own them all.
So
Yeah, within
17, 18, 19, that's what they're talking about?
They
Yeah.
have to put them
In that little corner right here, this right here.
get the
Yeah.
square footage.
Up the top up there.
Oh, okay.
okay, I just asked Marshall about that, and he said it's required to get the, the lot, make that additional frontage and everything, so and that would qualify then.
I
I'm sorry, I missed that, what
You
happened?
have the 30,000 feet when you put them all together?
That's correct.
39,000, I think
It's
I read.
39,000.
Yes.
When you put them all together, yeah, when you put the 4 lots together, you create a conforming lot.
All right, so you got the area.
And the frontage issue is if Chamberlain wasn't there, we've got it no problem, because we have the abutting lots on the other side of Chamberlain. You follow me?
And, but
You know, we're the abutter on the other side.
Oh, right, so you would run the property
Yeah,
line another
Chamberlain's like a
15
hardship.
feet.
I don't know if there's
Right.
such a thing as having a paper street as a hardship, but if that paper
No,
street.
the hardship,
Was it
that
there?
belongs to you, you can use it to the end,
Yeah.
by law.
Okay.
And so that, because we just had a case, and I've got it right here, if anybody want to read it, on favorite streets. So I'm not, that's not a concern in that regard.
Okay.
So that becomes one frontage now, if I'm reading that right. Correct, Marshall?
so would they have the frontage, correct?
On the other side of Chamberlain, you mean?
Yes.
See, that's what I was wondering that. I was wondering if that, I don't know that much about it, but that's.
If
what I
it's
was
still a
wondering.
paper street, I don't,
I think it
It's
used to
frontage
be.
on a paper street, but it doesn't qualify as buildable
Okay.
frontage.
Yeah, we had that issue before.
Right.
yeah, but it was, that was a little bit different, because they wanted to use it on the side.
So then, the
What about the
content,
frontage on the other side of the paper street? You know, if we use that.
so the contention partly is that because Chamberlain Street exists, that
On
also
paper.
reduces his setback from, of the building facing
32,
Chamberlain Street from
32.
20 feet to 35 feet, right? But, John, am I seeing that you're 36 and a half feet from Chamberlain?
Yeah, one of the setbacks is 36 and a half, but then if you look in the front, there's a bump, there's a 4.5-foot bump
Yes.
out on the house, which
In the
brings it to
corner.
32 feet at the
32
front.
feet, I see that
the
there,
front
yep.
corner.
I do see that.
And so that's the reason for the request for a,
But in the back, you have 36.
right,
So it's just, but
That was the
that
side.
corner is what triggers.
right.
Right, and on the paper street,
Becomes
On the
a side.
paper street.
on the paper
So you
street.
need
Becomes a
3
side
feet there,
setback, Not a front.
you
Yeah, we
need
just had
5
that
feet
one
of
by the inmates.
frontage. Right,
That's
you're
correct,
5 feet
yeah.
shy on,
Yeah, that's
Murphy.
correct,
on real frontage.
right,
Right.
on a developed street.
Yeah, no,
The
but
other
make
side
an
facing the
addition on this.
Danica development, there's no
Because
problem
they
because
maintain
that's a side yard
system,
setback, and that's
exactly,
20
but
feet,
they-
and you're 30 and a half.
Council
What I'm
said-
thinking
Right,
about.
Town councils.
So it's that paper street that's kind of messing you up a little bit.
Frontage doesn't count.
Now, what is developed here and what is not? I mean, when we're looking at this, again, didn't have a
as far
chance.
as, what do you, as far as what, Mr.
Where
Chairman?
where are the homes in the neighborhood?
In the neighborhood, there isn't anything on Murphy Street at this time. There are
Okay.
no houses.
I
Have they
think they've
started
broken
this one?
ground on this one.
Okay,
Yeah,
then-
I
then
think
since
they're-
I've been-
I think this
then-
one's under construction,
Okay,
Danica
okay.
Development.
Because they are, I mean, that whole development
Century
is
Estates,
Century Estates is being
Right, I've
constructed
seen
right
that.
now.
I did see that, yeah.
And unbeknownst to me, I guess the lot right next door to us,
Yeah,
they've started a house on the lot
And was
right
that
next door.
16K, is that what you're talking about?
That would be the one that's to the west, Danica Development LLC, would be,
On this, okay, right here?
yeah, the one at the
Yeah.
bottom end, yes, sir.
And it-
One on that side.
the
would
neighborhood,
be
I
about-
drove around it quite a bit,
Right?
and the neighborhood looks,
And
Okay.
from an opposite, an eye without
and
walking
whether or
it,
not they go down,
looks like it does blend in,
goes that way, we don't know.
as far as width and that, so you're not, wouldn't be detrimental in the character of the neighborhood. That's important.
No, and that was one of the reasons why we wanted to face the house to the street, or, so that.
Murphy
So
Street?
that it looks, on Murphy Street, so that it looks like all the other houses. If we're not allowed to do that, you would have to, because of the reduced building envelope there, you'd have to turn the house sideways, so.
Now, we won't be coming back here trying to develop the rest of this, correct?
There's no plan for that.
That was my, well,
Which one, what, you mean as far as those lots are
No.
concerned?
Yes.
Those four lots will be,
They're
are
concerned
gonna be
about
one
that.
lot.
one
Okay.
lot.
That's
Oh,
what we're voting
the
on
front,
tonight,
we don't-
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So, make sure I understand this, you have 100, how much now, 100,
105 feet,
and you need 110.
need 110.
So you're looking for a 5-foot, that would have been easier from us from day one if we'd had it a little bit more specific.
Uh-huh.
So you're looking for 5 feet.
That's correct. for lot frontage.
Now, if Chamberlain ever gets built, this never becomes a issue if you turn.
That's correct.
Frontage
Right,
5
yeah, I
feet
didn't
from,
think of that.
But if you walk Chamberlain, if you walk the paper street,
Yeah,
the very highly, my estimation is that it's not a road that'll ever be developed. There's a lot of wetlands out there.
exactly.
And there's one other property owner that could utilize that street, but to utilize it, he would have to construct the entire road. He'd have to go from one side to the other, and I don't know that that would be worth.
But if it does get
Worth his
developed, it's
while.
gonna look awfully strange that you have that large lot like that. I mean,
Is what it is.
yes, but
No, I mean,
I'm just
it's
throwing
still,
it out there.
it's still, it's a conforming lot. I mean, we're creating conforming lot.
Basically needs to do
Yeah,
that.
Those-
Yeah,
all of
make
the, all of the,
39,
all of
right.
the,
But it would
all
be-
of those lots are under the same ownership, so as far as zoning is concerned, all of those lines that you see there between each of those lots in regards to zoning, they do not exist, because each of those 4 lots are all owned by the same entity.
Okay, all right, okay. All right,
See what the-
But in the future, they still could develop it, so that does weigh in.
right. All right, so let's close it to the board and open up to the floor. Any questions? Anyone? Okay. Closing it to the floor, open it back to the board. All right, so how are we feeling on this one?
I'm gonna throw some, I do not like giving out frontage. Most
Understand.
towns do not do that.
Yep.
In the past, I think, in just judging other towns that I've seen, I think this could be one of the examples, but I'd feel a lot better if I knew those other lots were not going to be joined. I mean, were being joined, I said, I'd feel better about that, because the neighborhood, there is a good distance, and everybody does have a good frontage, and I don't want to change that character in fairness to the neighbors.
Mhm.
That's all my comment.
Okay.
That said, I don't think visually 5 feet one way or another makes a difference. I feel that visually, if Chamberlain is never developed, you would never go, that frontage is different. So I can see the makings of the hardship for the variance. And again, even if for some reason Chamberlain Street was developed, then I don't think in a drive-by and casual observation, you'd look and say, well, gee, how come that lot's narrower than the others? Because that lot is only 5 feet under the requirement. You know, we try not to make pork chop lots. We don't want to do those sorts of things. And again, if Chamberlain hadn't been developed, then, you know, most likely the lot line would be another 15 feet to the north on this particular map, and he wouldn't even be here except for the floodplain overlay wetland protection district. So I think in the shape of the topography of this particular one, I see it, I can see the hardship. In this case, where I feel oftentimes we get congested, I like the idea of taking 4 older grandfathered lots and making it 1 lot rather than trying to make it 2 lots or 3 lots or something like that. So I think in some ways we're reducing the visual clutter and congestion.
And I do agree, we really don't like giving out, you know, the frontage. But in this case, when you look at the land that you're taking up and you're not building behind someone,
Right.
you're gonna put that house right there. We have no idea if that road's gonna be built, so, again, we don't like to give out the frontage. But again, we're talking 5 feet, and there's a possibility that road may never be built. And
John, is this going to go to conservation?
We've been to conservation.
is this all wetland back here?
What's the conservation say?
Well, it's the overlay.
Conservation is allowing it because we're on the border of the 100-foot buffer zone as far as where we are on the wetlands. The building itself is beyond the 100-foot buffer zone, but the grading that's going to be done was within it, so we had to get an order of conditions for that activity.
Okay.
And again, is this all wetlands back here?
The wetlands is shown here on the line as,
Yep.
from B1, it's across the street, that it's an isolated area of bordering vegetated wetlands.
Okay.
So you're just,
At least you're out of the 100 feet. That's
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Right.
all right.
Because once you're in that 100 feet, that's,
Anything else, guys?
throws a lot of red
Throw some out
flags.
there?
No,
Bill, you all set on that?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right.
good.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion to approve the petition of EMK Trust 355 Providence Highway, Westwood, for a special permit under 175, Section 35, to construct in the floodplain and wetlands protection overlay district, and variances under 175-29 for front yard setback and lot frontage to construct a single-family house with an attached garage at 0 Murphy Street, per the plan submitted. The date on the plans?
This says August 1st.
December
Yeah,
12th.
there's a
What do you got?
revision date of December 12th.
Oh, there it is, okay,
December
December 12th, there it is.
December 12th, 2017.
Yep.
The property is located on Assessor's Map 51, lots 17, 18, 19, and 20 in the R30 zone.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Do you want?
Good luck.
All right. Back here. I gotta open it.
Paperwork.
Do you have anyone here though, representing?
They probably won't get it.
Yeah, but the file I have at home.
It being after 7:15, Abington Zoning Board of Appeals will hear the petition of George Williams, trustee, Penn Realty Trust, 80 Washington Street, Norwell, for finding per Chapter 48, Section 6, whether 175-25-1 affords protection for development of building lot, which is over 5,000 square feet and has 51 feet of frontage at 155 Birch Street. Property located on Assessors Map 54, lots 90 and 92 in the R20 zone.
Hello, thank you. I'm George Williams, and my wife Jennifer is here. And I'm actually here to follow up on an earlier email requesting a continuance of this hearing, which my attorney said he needed.
Yeah, we got copies of it,
Oh, you
actually.
do?
Yep.
In any event,
You can read that into it.
I had circulated, I don't know, is everybody here for this project? I don't know if there's a large.
This is it, this will be you are the last one on the agenda
It's
tonight.
not the zoning board fan club.
Oh, yeah, well,
There's only one person be here.
There's maybe,
I circulated an introductory letter, making myself available for any questions or anything. I'm happy to answer anything, but I'm not
okay.
prepared to present.
May I read this?
Yeah, go ahead,
finding for your consideration.
Why do you want to continue this hearing?
Because the attorney didn't finish his title work. I learned that today. He was unprepared.
May I read this into the record, sir?
Yes,
Vice Chairman's gonna read this in.
Dear Zoning Board of Appeals, please let this confirm the substance of our telephone conversation, specifically the applicant, George Williams, trustee, Penn Realty Trust, is requesting a continuance of tonight's hearing due to the complexity of the history of the ownership of the premises. The applicant requires additional time to complete due diligence. Mr. Williams will be present to make the request for continuance at hearing. My apology for the late notice of this request. If you have any questions or comments, please contact me. Very truly yours, Walter B. Sullivan, your attorney. So if that's the case,
Right, we really shouldn't.
then what we're simply going to do is
Is,
make a motion for the continuance.
Well, can I be heard on this?
Absolutely.
Because I used to have to deal with this with the Conservation Commission. And the problem with this is that we'll hear a warning to all the people here, that it's going to be continued to another date, and you're not going to get any notice of it.
Right.
Right.
And I think that is an appalling thing to hear, that it goes against the sense of an open meeting law, and it really is. You know, people have taken time off to come here. They don't know. They're going to leave this room not knowing when the next date is. We'll tell them the date, but they may not be able to take the time off. So there's a few steps that can be done here. One is that we could continue with the hearing, all right. But I don't agree with continuing hearings where it's not totally necessary, but that's one issue, and that's what, you know, it might be done. The problem with that is we're going to hear, like I said, this warning that the people who are here tonight are not going to get notice of it. This is your last notice. I always shudder when I hear that phrase. The second thing is simply to ask the petitioner to withdraw his petition this time, and you can come back. The third thing is that we just simply deny. If you're not prepared to go forward, we can actually take this hearing and deny your petition, and that would be rather hard. Or approve, I beg your pardon, or approve, but you're not prepared to actually talk about it because you don't have counsel. But this is not, you know, I come from criminal courts where, of course, you're allowed a lawyer, but here you don't have to have a lawyer. In fact, many of the people who come here are just ordinary people, you know, without legal representation. So we can either continue it, but I think it's unfortunate to do that. We can ask you to withdraw it and you can come back, or we can move on this. Those are the choices.
Can I address that? That's a very good point, and I appreciate everybody's time and interest in it. And if I could submit a letter that I did hand deliver to all the abutters and would make the condition of the
Rehearing?
continuance,
Yep.
re-notification of all the abutters. I mean,
Yeah, can we see that, please?
yeah, this is,
And did everyone get something?
no.
Okay.
I got one
Okay.
from the town, and I met you walking around.
All right. Okay.
Let me explain. There's all the abutting adjacent property owners got this letter
Okay.
in their mailbox.
No, we did not.
I did get it.
If you live on Charles Street,
We live in Stonegate Square.
on Charles Street.
Sir, can I have that?
No.
So, can we go make some
Well, I
copies?
walked every house and put one in.
All right, so,
All right, raise your hand if you need a copy of it. Raise your hand if you need a copy of it.
If I may, just real quick, in terms of notice as Attorney Bergen has pointed out, it's the essential part of the United States Constitution. I appreciate your honesty because you're saying that due to the extensiveness required to present this case, you need a delay. That should resound with the board. He needs time. He needs a lot of time. So even if he got 30 days tonight, it may not be enough. So therefore, I implore you to either vote or for him to withdraw.
Yeah, because the clock is started.
And I mean, I work nights. I took a night off to be here. You know what I mean? And, it cost me $300, $400 to come here. You know what I mean? I had to take a night off work.
And my husband works 11 hours a day, and he came with me, which I was shocked, but he had to go home because he had to go to bed.
You know, it's a inconvenience, so,
And I
you know.
fully agree with that.
Well,
That is the
saying.
process, and there is, that's the process, and,
The process is we do have a record.
Okay, all right, okay. All right, please, I never really opened it up to the floor, so if we could just calm down here. Nancy's gonna make some copies of that.
well, I have more copies here.
Can I ask, through the chair, if I could ask, Mr. Williams, would you be prepared to withdraw your petition tonight, and we can hear it again?
Well, with all due respect, I mean, I am not, can you spend just a moment and clarify me on the implications of that?
Sure. If we hear it tonight, the time starts running, and if we continue, it starts running. But if we vote tonight, as the board loves to vote, on the actual meeting, if we vote against it, then you won't be able to come back for 2 years. So perhaps the better way
1 year.
is it 1 year?
1 year.
1 year. So perhaps the better way is just simply to withdraw it and we'll come back another night when everybody's ready.
Thank you, Nancy.
I think Attorney Bergen's main point is that, you know, in terms of notification to the public, which is your primary concern, you know, abutters within 300 feet, you know, are all notified. So if you're 500 feet away, but you think you're close enough, you don't necessarily get a letter. That's, you know, that's how the rule works. But in terms of a continuance, the audience and the people who've taken their time out to come here today don't get another letter saying that this hearing will be held, you know, in February at 7 o'clock. Basically, the only word is that when we say it's continued till February. So you don't have, you know, a piece of paper in front of you on your refrigerator going, oh, got to trek to the town hall in February. So that's, am I incorrect?
I would also say, Mr. Vice Chairman, that maybe the issue, as the town inspector suggested, isn't whether we continue it, but whether it's withdrawn
Right.
or whether we rule on it.
But
So
just to say, we've never forced anyone to do that. We have continued many, many petitions without forcing a vote.
Okay.
I'm not saying I'm for it or against it, but I'm just saying that we have done this more than once, when we never force someone or force the decision to be done if someone asks for a continuance. So
I know.
I'm not going to take one project and make it special. I don't see, if someone asks for a continuance, we usually grant it, no matter what project it is. So I don't know why tonight we're going to force the applicant to make us make a decision tonight when the person is not legally prepared for his presentation. Again, we have never done this for any other project, so since when are we starting to do this?
And I agree with the chair. I mean, I appreciate the fact that people took time out of their day or missed work or things like that, and there's obviously a lot of you here, but I don't think that should change the fact that, I mean, continuances are granted routinely by this board.
Happened last month.
Yeah,
Yes.
so I don't think we should
I
necessarily.
understand, but I don't think that we should be making special demands tonight.
Okay, well, I would suggest, Mr. Chairman, that actually it's a bad practice to continue, unless we're in the middle of a hearing and there's some question that has to be resolved. But at the very outset of a hearing to keep continuing it, I think that's a bad practice to have. And even though we've done it before,
I agree.
maybe it's the time to say no to this.
It would be a first, okay?
It would be.
I agree.
And I'm amazed, no matter what the project is or the petition comes in front of us, that I've been on the board almost 3 years now. This is the first time this has ever happened. I understand, and we've been through a lot of heated constructions or whatever, and we have always continued, even, I can think of a couple last year that we continued just the same. So,
One important thing here that we can't forget, the burden is not on us. The burden is on the petitioner. So when on other things to prove this and that, like even tonight, I'm saying, the proof wasn't there, but it's still, the burden of proof is on the petitioner. So that's how I feel.
Well, actually, the choice too is
And
on
the
the
choice,
poor
yeah.
petitioner. But I would ask.
You're giving them a choice. We do not have to do that,
No, we can actually just go forward and hear it.
because
But-
that's what we're here for.
could,
I
but
was
you'd be
gonna-
you'd be doing something that we haven't done before on this board. When someone comes in front of us for a contingency, we grant it for legal reasons, because they're not prepared, and we have the right to give them time to be prepared. So to me, I don't think we should change that.
What if I'm prepared?
What about?
Again, sorry, we did not open it up to the floor. I apologize for earlier, but please,
So how
this is
about-
the board speaking now.
How about hardship, though? I mean, would it be a hardship, Mr. Sullivan, to withdraw it and come back again? Would that be a hardship on you?
Well, it's Williams, the
I beg your
attorney
pardon,
is.
sorry, Mr. Williams, yeah.
Well, I'm not clear on all the implications of that. To be honest with you, I think, what I've done by, going through the process and the public notification, and then personally making myself available through making myself available to answer any and all questions to any of the abutters, and then promising the board, and at my request for a continuance, because of something that was beyond my control, a professional that I have to bring into this process, who doesn't have the same vested interest I do, with my commitment to say that I will re-notify or go along, or even if there was a way to tentatively schedule me for next month's meeting, everybody here would know when that meeting was, and that would take care of the process. That would take care of the notification.
Well,
I'm
going to interrupt you just for a minute, just quickly, because it's 8:15. But I feel I didn't properly explain to you that actually there's a huge significance in us actually agreeing to continue it, because the clock begins to tick.
That's what I
And
said.
how long do we have to decide whether he...
105, Tony.
100 days.
I go
So
105.
you have 100 days, and if the board can't get its act together in the 100 days, you actually get what you asked for. So actually for us, there's a huge significance in actually...
There is
beginning
one
it.
condition, you can have them sign a
Mutual agreement.
mutual agreement that we're extending, so the clock stops.
Right, that's true.
Okay, so where's the board stand on this?
I'll make a motion to approve the applicant's request for a continuance until the next hearing.
I'll second that.
All approve?
Aye.
Aye.
So, till February
February 8th,
at 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock.
Okay, so folks, the next hearing regarding this is February 8th at 7 PM here. All right? In this instance, and that's, I think, what this contention's been about, is you will not be getting a mailed notification about that, so put it in your date timers now, if you wish to sit in on this.
Will we the first hearing?
Yes, you are.
You will be, yeah.
May as
And
well
it's a
start
go,
off with
I
a
mean-
bang.
And make note that he's not prepared today.
Correct,
We're done. We're done.
correct. You can make a note
And
if you
make a
like.
note that I'm available at any time with that phone number or email, well, actually,
All right, 1 second, we're about to.
Yeah,
I'd
hold
like
on.
to make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Okay.
Oh, we didn't vote on
Wait,
the other part.
Let's
We
hold.
had a motion and a second.
Excuse me?
We had a motion and a second. Did we vote to?
We all approved it.
Okay.
We all approved it. Yep.
You already did it.
Yep.
Now you can make a motion.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
So, all in favor?
Aye.
Let me go shut it.
Marshall, on that one, could you have the lawyer look at it?
First thing tomorrow morning.
And that way they will feel better about it. Park,
First thing tomorrow morning.
Parkside.
Is that the,
thank you very much.
Yep, take care.
is that the coverage one?
Question? So this is definite?
What's definite?
The meeting's...
Oh, it's definite. It's gonna happen whether
Will happen.
it's gonna happen.
Okay.
Unless it's a blizzard out or something like that.
Okay. And we will be...
Oh, please come. Everybody, please come, please.
No, but if, weather or something like that, so I'll just call the town, call in the morning, and make sure it's going to be...
It's gonna
There's a
happen.
blizzard or something like that in the town. Yeah, I mean.
John, do you wanna turn that off?
Okay, thank you.
Yes, thank you. Is it shutting off? Mr. Brown, how you doing?
Wasn't this project turned down, or you probably used it?
I'm not sure, I wasn't on the
I
board.
don't know.
There was a 12 and a 14 one.
The children's for sale. You know what we're trying to build?
Right.
Right here?
I used to live there myself, so,
Why is this 2,000?
I used to live in that area myself on John Street. I know that area.
This one, would
Are
anybody
we-
like to see what we're trying to
You
build?
you should probably be talking to Marshall. You
I get
don't
this
know.
one too. I get this one too. Yeah,
Bill
that's not what
inspector?
we're trying. Okay.
Oh, he wasn't either?
Yes, please.
So, but